Tonight's session is simply just a free-for-all, a fireside chat. If there's anyone on that would like to show us your site and ask questions, that's great too. Or if you just want to talk about your Martins. Oh, we have Safe joining. I hope I'm saying that right. Let's let Safe join. And Laurie is also joining.
If you were in Alabama, you would say it's Saif. I don't know how he says it. But...
Well, we're about to find out. Brad, do you want to
Yes.
start the recording?
I'm way ahead of you, Kathy.
Well, that's a first.
That is a first.
Hi, Safe. Can you tell us, say hello and tell us how to say your name? Is it Safe? Safe, if you're connected, you are on mute right now. There you go.
Yeah, that's how you say it, Safe.
Oh, man. Come on. You're in the South. You're supposed to say Saif.
Both are correct.
Okay.
Excellent. And it looks like Lori is still trying to join. Let's give her a second just here. So Safe, you're looks like you're going to be a new landlord this season also, right?
Looks like it.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you. Like the turnover was pretty fast. I didn't expect to get successful this fast.
That's great.
Hey, I want to congratulate Saif as well because he's done a lot of work to his site, and I'm going to try to get him to come up visit and maybe help me out with electronic doohickeys. Doohickeys. But yeah, your site looks great. So congrats on the new birds.
Yeah, that's awesome. Safe and Lindsay are both new landlords this year, and we have Lori. Lori has joined us as well. So thanks everybody for joining tonight. I'll just start over again real quick. If anyone has questions, it's just a fireside free-for-all chat tonight. Ask any questions you want to. You can even ask, why is Brad's head so shiny? We don't know. He may polish it.
Unfortunately, Brad can't unmute his camera, so nobody can say how shiny my head is. Pretty shiny.
A lot of you were here when we first kicked off Purple Martin Fanatics. Some of you joined later, so we appreciate you joining. But our first night out, Brad, the technical guru, just started pushing buttons, literally. And yeah, we had a few conversations on the phone. So Brad's notorious for pushing the buttons, and he will figure out eventually how to get his video off mute. So let's kick it off. Anybody have any questions or just something they want to talk about tonight?
I don't know if everybody saw my post earlier. I found a capped egg today, so the nest checks are real important on hatching day.
Way to go, Jean. Yep. So for those that don't know what a capped egg is, Jean, would you like to explain it to them?
Sure. It's pretty much it's when one egg hatches and half of that egg falls on top of another egg, therefore making double thickness for the chick to get through. And I don't know if they ever do. I have no idea, but I check constantly during nesting, and I catch them every single year. I catch them.
So how hard was it to get
that
off?
That one was not easy. Sometimes they come right off, but you know, it's always terrifying touching those eggs because they're so fragile. But I don't think they're quite as fragile as we think they are, because I had to peel that one off with my fingernail. I did it slowly. I was real careful, but I was really nervous the whole time. And once I got it off, you could see that the chick had not tried to come through the other shell. I'm going to check it. You'll notice I don't have my netting on my gourd rack right now back there because I'm about to go check again when we get off here. Just before sundown, I want to go check on them again before nighttime.
Good idea. So let's see, Tiffany is not on, but Tiffany had asked, how often do we do nest checks? And the PMCA recommends every 5 to 7 days. However, capped egg findings. So I mentioned to Tiffany, it's probably a good idea to check a little bit more when you know that they're hatching. Louise, would you agree with that? To check a little more when they're hatching, maybe over a couple of days or so? Can you get off mute, Louise? There you
I
go.
think, am I unmuted?
You are, yes.
You are unmuted.
How wonderful. Well, we're pretty much on a once a week schedule here. But I know that, yeah, I can help to do them a little more frequently. But I wouldn't propose to check every day when I know they're hatching, just because it disrupts feeding and incubation. So you don't want to check too early in the day when you're going to push the females off their eggs, because we all know that if bacon isn't inky, it's not worth eating. And you know, just kind of try to have a balanced approach there. You aren't going to catch them all, but it's not the end of the world either. But it's really nice when you do catch them and can uncap them.
Excellent, thanks. So is there a way that, hey, Brad made it. He got unmuted.
I figured out how to do it. I poked enough buttons.
So is there, for those that are difficult to get off, the caps, is there an alternative way if you don't have fingernails, or can you stick a pin under it, or what's a good way to get it off if it's being very difficult?
Water. Use water, warm water.
I would not have thought of that.
Make sure it's at least warmer than your body. It doesn't need to be hot, but it needs to be over 100 degrees, 100 to 100 degree water.
I have a squirrel that's right here that's trying to, I don't know what he's going to do.
No,
I
don't
need him
use
to attack me. I need him to leave.
Don't use squirrels to get the capped egg off. That
Oh
would not
my
be a good
goodness.
idea.
He won't go away.
Doing that unmuted.
We are unmuted.
Yes, John, you are unmuted.
Hello.
Hey, John. I would like to point out that Zoom auto-transcripted incubation correctly. Oh, it did it for me too. Wow.
Ooh.
And just so everyone knows, we are recording, so
Yes.
day. Hey, Daniel, welcome. Daniel Sieper has joined us.
Cool.
Cool. Good. So good topic, and timely topic for capped eggs.
I don't know what else to use besides water. You could use about anything. Wouldn't matter. Just be careful. And if you do break the egg that was capped, it was going to die anyway.
That's a good point, because I would have beat myself up bad.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So nothing lost. Obviously, you want to try to be careful with it, but if you do end up breaking the egg and it kills the embryo, and it was capped, it was going to die anyway.
That's a good point. That's
Okay.
why I'm not leaving alone.
Kathy,
Yes.
I'm just wondering, do we have a truce?
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, right. I've got 4 so far.
Oh, come
Okay,
on.
All right, the war's on. I just itched my nose and I thought, uh-oh.
I had to finish dinner before I got on here tonight. All right. Any other questions, comments, challenges anyone is having?
Ooh.
Oh boy, whole group of starlings. No, they're not gonna hang around. Could have shot one.
All right, so I'll let you know, guys know my current challenge. It's raining. It's been raining since yesterday. And it's kind of cool. It's about 60, 65, but with constant rain, we're probably not going to have really good feeding weather with constant rain. So I'll be trying to feed them tomorrow, flip crickets. And I can't believe we're having to flip crickets in the middle of May here. So
I'm right there with you, Kathy. I mean, I'm north of you a ways, but we've had the same weather we had yesterday. So I may have to leave the Zoom meeting early. They're not back yet, but I figured I'd at least give it another try tonight while they were watching me yesterday. So
that's kudos for you
Kathy?
for trying, Lindsay. Yes.
You said yes.
Yes, Kathy, the freeze down here killed a lot of vegetation, killed a lot of insects. We see a lot of migration coming through our backyard here and the other colonies in town. And this has been a hard year. Birds that have arrived in good weather have been struggling. And I basically have fed every evening of the year. And we're going to I have Tom Sullivan's doing the Osa Park. It's coming over with his mother and brother after a while. And we're going to feed them. I'm feeding 200 or 300 superworms a day on a platform in like 15 minutes. And normally they wouldn't be eating, but it's a problem. And I think that's why people are seeing
No eggs.
no eggs, birds not getting, dying when they get up north. I mean, they're not leaving here good, and there's not a lot of prosperity. I mean, we're next to the Gulf, and that polar vortex extended to the top of Texas.
Yeah.
That's really amazing, John. And that's, without trying to go all Mr. Dr. Chicken Gizzard, the female's got to take care of her own body weight before she produces any embryos. So they've got to get to a certain weight before they start laying eggs. And that's got to be, I mean, y'all know that very well, but that's got to be why your egg laying is so delayed. But it's very interesting that you're having to feed. But obviously those insects had several disruptions in their life cycle, and they're just not getting the natural forage that they should be getting. That's very interesting.
Well, I don't know where the damage of the polar vortex, how far south it extended. I mean, a lot of these birds can be coming up the Yucatan and through Mexico or crossing from further up the Yucatan. And, it may be barren waste down there. I suspect it's just as bad as here.
It could be.
And compounded with that, we've had drought. Now we've had rain, and that's helping. But I counted eggs in 2 of the systems today, and it's the first that we've had this year. And we had 30 total out of, I guess, 28 gourds in those 2 systems. And normally we'd be looking at live birds nearing fledge age in some of these compartments.
Sure. That's so strange.
Yeah, I thought you guys this weekend when I did a nest check and I found my first eggs and realized that you guys in Texas were finding your first eggs. This is really strange. And, when we think of the polar vortex, we didn't even think of all the other insects and everything that were dying. I tell you, it reached southern Missouri here though, too. I lost a lot of bluebirds and even a meadowlark already.
Well, there weren't a significant number of martins in the U.S. at that time. I mean, that was very early in migration, but it took out all of the food supply, plants and insects, and it's just now getting back. I mean, I'm looking at my backyard here. You used to have beautiful shrubs, and now they're just dead limbs.
Yeah, I didn't think about how much it cooled the bodies of water out there that would normally be generating millions of insects, and it cooled those bodies of water down colder than they've probably been in the last 100 years. And that really interrupted the food supply, and you know, that's kind of a lasting part of that I never considered at the time. But it's amazing because, you know, here I am in North Alabama, which my birds probably migrate up through the peninsula of Florida, or most of them do. So we were on the extreme eastern edge of that. And even though we had the cold weather, we didn't have the dead bluebirds and the dead other natives that everybody else had. But, you know, I've got nestlings that are 10 days old. And you guys in extreme South Texas don't even have eggs yet. So it's just
Yeah.
amazing.
And if we have any second broods this year, Brad, we'll have them in September, October.
Yeah. Yeah. I
They
don't
go
think
year
y'all,
round down here.
yeah, I don't think y'all are going to have that this year.
I don't think so.
Very, very, very interesting. All right. Do we have anyone that has a question that would like to chime in here?
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead, Lindsay.
Okay, so I'm contemplating doing my first nest check. I know they've been building nests, and I haven't been trying to harass them too much. They seem like a spooky bunch, maybe just because new site, new everything. But I think my biggest concern is mites. I read a lot of things about mites, and I'm like freaked out about the mites.
Okay, good. So, all right, mites, they're very, very tiny. And for most of us, we don't run into a mite problem until the chicks hatch and there are 10 to 12 days old.
Yeah.
And the
Okay.
PMCA does not like the use of 7 dust, and especially not diatomaceous earth. However, a lot of us do it. So my practice is I do a nest change when the nestlings are 10 to 12 days old. And I say 10 to 12 because your nest check cycle may fall on the 10th day, or it may fall on the 11th or the 12th day. So I do a nest change and I put a 1/4 teaspoon of 7 dust underneath that new nest.
Okay.
Okay. Now you may or may not run into mites. If you run into mites, this is what I do. I have a 5-gallon bucket of soapy water sitting nearby, and I take alcohol wipes with me as well in a Ziploc baggie where I soak them with just 91% alcohol,
Okay.
paper towels in a baggie. And after I do the nest change, I wipe my hands down with the alcohol wipes, and I just discard the alcohol wipes. If it gets really bad, I run to my 5-gallon bucket and wash my hands. But mites really don't get to be a problem on you unless a bird is nesting on your house and they can infest your house. That's why I encourage people not to let birds nest on their house, but you know, everybody each to their own. But that's how.
Okay,
I
so
deal with
you're
mites.
saying I'll know if, I mean, I'll see them enough to know that I've gotten into them.
Yes, you will see them.
Okay,
They're
so
like it's like sprinkling black pepper on your gourd.
You will
Okay.
know. And it's all over afterwards.
Don't tell her that.
Scare her.
See if I fit in
They're fine and they're
Where
easy
are
to get rid of.
Lindsay, the main thing is to wait until the weather's nice to do a nest check. There's
Yeah.
really no reason for you to do one right now, especially with the weather marginal. You know,
Okay.
you shouldn't have eggs yet, so there's no reason to push it. Wait until you have a nice 65, 70 degree afternoon to do a nest check.
Are nice birds.
Okay. Well, and the 2 reasons that I thought maybe I might bring the rack down one of these days is one, I'm offering eggshells on a couple of the feeding trays that I installed on the top, and I don't really know how fast they eat them. So I put them up like over a week ago. But like I said, that's like the one time I've brought the rack down since they've been here. And then the other was because I put 7 dust in the gourds when I pre-nested, but they've been hanging since March 1st. So I didn't know if I was running into a situation where the, 7 dust maybe, the 7 dust must maybe getting,
Deactivated.
yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Well, to touch on that for just a second, you're okay as long as you don't have young nestlings in the nest. The mites are not going to drive the adults away. They're used to dealing with them. They know how to deal with them. The only problem that, I mean, obviously the mites are a parasite, but when you have problems with mites is when they get so concentrated on the nestlings that they make them jump from the nest. So as long as you don't have nestlings, and you know that you don't, obviously, you're not in any rush to get rid of the nestlings, or to get rid of the
Mites.
Okay.
One thing I want to touch on, and this is a Brad thing. I don't know if how strongly anybody else feels about it, but you said that you had your eggshells on your gourd rack. That's not. I've seen other people do that, but I'm not a big fan of offering them on a tray on the gourd rack themselves, because you do attract other birds other than martins to those eggshells. So
Right. I've noticed that, and I already don't like it.
Yeah, I would encourage you to either build a different platform that's not on your gourd rack, or I mean, I know that I'm in the minority that I offer them on the ground, but I have a very wide open spot that I offer them where they're not in any danger of a cat or something getting them. But yeah, I would encourage you to remove those from your gourd rack and offer them in a different location.
Okay. I mean, and I was thinking as soon as I put them up, I noticed other birds were kind of scouting them out. And so I've already talked to my dad about potentially like making the Heath house into like a feeding tray station and getting those off. We have a lot of stuff to do around here. And so sometimes my things aren't like the most priority.
Right.
Understood.
I'm assuming your old Heath house is on a telescopic pole.
Yeah, it is. And now that I have so many, now that I have so many martins here that are staying, I took the Heath house down and just left the pole up for now.
Right. Yeah, that telescopic pole will make a great feeding station.
Yeah,
that's what I think. Because I mean, it's cemented in, and I don't really know what else to do with it. So I think we may try to. I bought that deluxe 12 pole from somebody. So I thought about turning that deluxe 12 pole into a feeding station, just because I'm kind of after the 3-inch look, I guess.
Right.
Not good. Wake up. Yeah. That telescope pole, you could grab an old baking pan or something and run a zip tie, drill you a couple holes through the side and run a zip tie around the top of your pole and zip tie that pan on there somehow, Lindsay.
Okay.
I love zip ties. I'm the zip tie queen, man.
Yeah, because dad also knows he's supposed to be helping me build one of your I get nervous around people.
That's okay.
I need to build my snake netting still, and we've got so many like just completely screwed up cattle panels around here. We actually have like a pile of dead ones that have been mauled. And so I sent him the video to help me like make that snake netting that you did on the video. So hopefully we'll maybe get to some of my projects soon.
Good. Do you have a cylinder guard on your pole?
I do have a guard.
Okay.
I just don't have the snake netting yet. And it's like, I've been asking questions about that because it's just, I'm not like, I can't weld or machine or, you know what I mean? It's like, how am I supposed to do this? And then I was like, oh, that's perfect. We've got all these cattle panels that we just use to like temporarily patch a hole till we get to the fence or whatever. But yeah, we've been busy serving cows and working cows. So we haven't been doing my stuff.
Okay. Just make sure your cylinder guard is mounted up as high as you can get it. And that will mostly protect everything that you have right now.
Okay. I bought the easy off one that goes through like the 6-foot pin.
Yep. Perfect.
Okay.
Good.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
You're welcome. All right. So anybody else have a question?
Hey,
Couldn't start
Keith,
then?
Watch it.
Keith
I got one
Krieger,
big
Huh?
puppy. I got
I
one
muted
big
your
puppy.
All right.
I
Well,
muted
if they wanna watch
your audio because it sounded like we were getting feedback through yours. So if you need to ask something, just pop up and we'll unmute you. But I was getting a lot of feedback from somewhere, and I think it was from your microphone.
I think he
Uh,
just,
Kathy, what did you think of Tiffany Anderson's snake netting modification on her stovepipe guard?
the last I saw it, it looked really good. She messaged me several times and I watched her pictures and she did a really nice job the last time I saw it. Did she change it in the last
No. She took I think Laurie Kaufman's on here.
Yes.
Laurie, I want to ask you to unmute. She took kind of your design, and her husband did a little more with it.
Oh yeah, she drilled the holes right in the top of her cylinder guard. That's right.
Yes.
I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was brilliant.
I did too, and I mean, you guys know that I don't use snake netting. I use electric fence, but I really am impressed with that guard, and I don't see how a snake could get past it. I really don't. And I think for you guys that use those cylinder guards and Lindsay, this is going back to you. I think it's a fantastic idea. I'd like to get her to post some more pictures of it. She used all thread rod right at the top of her cylinder guards and used that to hold her netting on. So it's completely removable from the pole when she does nest checks. And I think it's fantastic. I'm glad to hear Kathy say that because she has so much more experience with that than I do. But
yeah, I forgot she finally went to the all thread rod. I thought it was brilliant what her husband did.
yeah, I agree.
Takes everything off all at once. It was great.
Yeah, get her to post. I must have missed her post about that or something because
I will.
that's why I was just like, I
will.
can't understand how it's going to come off. Like at least Kathy's will slide down and I can take the cylinder guard off. And I'm like, how am I supposed to get the rack down? Because I don't want to take a ladder out there to do nest checks. I can get the thing all the way to the ground.
Right. Okay. I'll tag you on her post, or I'll get her to post the details about it, Lindsay.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Sure.
But that idea came from Laurie Kaufman, and I think Laurie's unmuted now. She had a way that she did hers that was very nice, and it made the net where it was manageable. And Tiffany's husband saw what Laurie did and went from there and created something a little bit different, but very similar. But it just that's why places like our group is so great, because one person can see one's idea and modify it a little bit and change it, and that just helps us grow exponentially as landlords instead of trying to butt our heads against the wall and figure out everything for ourselves.
Great.
Well, and I know we've been a little slow on the snake netting, but I told Dad it wasn't a priority just because, number one, since I have a new colony, I was hoping I didn't have any really large smart snakes around here yet. And if I do have any smart snakes, they would probably go another 20 feet into my chicken coop where they could just crawl right in and get eggs all day. So I was hoping that would at least be a deterrent for now.
Right. Good. All right. So any other discussion questions anybody has? Safe?
John,
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, John's got his pole plug that he uses, that we use to trap some very stubborn starlings, and he wanted to show that real quick. You're gonna have to hold it back though, John. It's
Okay.
just
Yeah.
Crushed.
a pole that is extendable, and he put a metal L bracket at the
It's
end.
a swimming pool pole, telescopic. It goes up to like 12 or 15 feet. And on
Okay.
the end, I put about a 1/2 inch aluminum deal below it where it will push against the end of the pole. And I put that on with a stainless steel radiator clamp.
So
And
you just stick that in the hole when the starling goes in there?
Yeah, you come up from behind them. You have to be sneaky because they're sneaky. But we trapped 2 starlings in 15 minutes and we hadn't been able to shoot them because they were so wary. This worked great. We got them both.
I developed this, Brad, for the geolocator projects, the last
Yeah.
year of the recovery.
Yeah.
And we would go out with a pole and plug it. And someone would hold the plug and we'd lower the house and the pole would go with it.
Right.
And that frightened the martins. But if you plugged a bird carrying a geolocator
Right.
and then pulled the pole away from the plug, it stayed in the house.
Sure.
It's about
Yeah,
9 or 10 inches long. It's epoxy and duct tape at the end to get into this last
Crescent.
weekend. We used it on a wep and some Conley emphasis.
Yeah, that's a
The
good
old wep
idea.
did fine.
Yeah, I like that.
And so it's in about 6 or 8 inches. The pole, you should put some soap on it to make it
Right.
slicker before you
Right.
go out.
Right.
But you push that into the pole, and we're using upper gourds on the Troyer rack. I think it's SS24.
Right.
And it was easy to get in, and it just lines right up with that tapered end. You push
Sure.
it in, pull it out. We
Yeah,
lowered the gourd, and I'm about, I don't know, at least 5 or 6 starlings. this way.
Yeah, I could see that would work really well.
Well, it's easy to make
Right.
and cheap.
And that's just pipe
This is
insulation.
the smallest size pipe insulation,
Right. Okay, cool.
3/8 inch.
That's how you get
1
those
half by 3/8 inch.
sneaky starlings
Yes, sir. And
And
sparrows.
sparrows.
and sparrows.
Okay,
I'm having a little trouble understanding you, Louise, with that South Texas accent you've got.
I tell you, we can use all the tips for trapping starlings and sparrows that we can get.
Absolutely. Dynamite. If you have to use dynamite, use dynamite.
That's a cool idea. I don't have a pool skimmer, but I do have one of those extending cleaning poles.
Yeah, for
paint,
ceiling
Yeah.
fans.
Yeah, for ceiling
Yeah.
fans. I could use
Yeah.
that.
yeah, paint pole would work.
that swimming pool pole only costs like $10 on Amazon.
Oh, wow.
That's a
It
good
goes
idea.
up, it's 4 foot sections, and you just put it up however high you want.
Oh, awesome.
But leaving the plug in when we were retrieving geolocators and taking the pole away enabled us to catch 2 or 3 in a single morning, like 15, 20, 30 minutes apart,
That's awesome.
because they weren't afraid of the plug, they were afraid of the pole.
Right.
Right. Good
That's great.
idea. Excellent.
Okay,
So,
I'm in.
You go give Puppy her meds and hold the tray.
Hey, Brad and Kathy, I'm Tina in Sedalia.
Okay.
How are you all?
We're great. How are you?
good.
Well, I'm a little embarrassed. I'm proud of my one little couple. Christy and I have been talking to you all. Christy,
Goodman.
yeah. So anyway, here's my little question. For Christmas, my husband put the cameras in our gourds for me. So we've been watching, and I have a blast watching Dean and Judy tonight. But last night, Dean did not come home. So I'm kind of freaking. Is that okay?
Instead of Kathy and I answering that, let's ask Brandy Harrington to answer that question.
Randy?
Are we unmuted?
You're good.
You're
Hi.
unmuted,
Hi.
yes.
Did
I can't do this technology thing either. So we've actually got cameras in 2 gourds, and it's an interesting thing. And one of them, the male left, and he was gone for 2 days.
Yeah.
And then he showed back up on the 3rd night.
okay.
Then the other gourd, in gourd 1, he stayed when we first installed the cameras. He was there for 3 or 4 days, And then he went missing for 2 nights, and then he come back as well. So I think it's, I don't
So
know.
I freak out yet. I mean,
No.
she's getting quite chubby, and we're just having. I've got a few people watching, and I'm trying to figure out how to get this on a live feed for everybody. I've got a computer geek working on it, but in the meantime, I've got people that have loaded the app and they're watching it, and everybody, where's Dean? Where? I mean, but it was really rainy and stormy last night, so. I don't
Well,
know.
the 2 times we've experienced that, the mail did come back.
Okay, you
I
happy?
can tell you where he is. He's
Well,
out
and I
looking-
will say this too, literally the morning after he showed back up that night, he was bringing in leaves all morning. He was trying to do things to.
He brought lots of gifts for the next couple
He
days.
was vacuuming and washing dishes.
Yep.
And
Having some
Yep.
another woman,
Yeah, he-
that's like bringing flowers home.
that's exactly right. He's out looking for love in all the wrong places.
Hey, oh, I joined a group. I'm gonna break it down. Sorry.
That's funny.
Okay, so I don't need to worry yet
Not yet.
No, I wouldn't
No.
worry.
because I had babies last year, so I think this is the same guy. But I don't want, I have the cameras in there. I want it to keep going. So
Sure.
Excellent.
Well, and in the chance that maybe something happened to him, I know a lot of people posted some, very interesting things that we could have done to help her out, because she had 5 eggs, and I was worried about her ability to be able to feed, 5 if she was to successfully hatch all of them. And they had mentioned, maybe moving some of the babies into another gourd of similar age, and can't remember what the other thing was. There was a couple options there that on my post about it. That was good to know.
okay, all right. Hopefully, I won't have to worry about that.
I hope you don't either. It's stressful to worry about it.
No, people think I'm a nut. I just said, well, I'm getting old. What can I say?
Well, you're amongst nuts, so.
That's a fact. You're with your own kind right now.
Thank you, Brandy,
Totally
for
understand.
telling your tale.
Absolutely.
All right, we have several other people here that are kind of quiet.
We sure do.
Safe, we know you got something to say.
So has anyone ever mounted the full guard on the top of the like at the bottom of the the mounting bracket? Has anyone
was
ever
trying to-
mounted how the pole guard comes with 2 angle brackets?
Yes,
And what if you mount it from where you mount all the round brackets for the gourds?
Talking about
So
mounting
then-
it right up at the bottom of the gourd rack itself.
Yeah. Because they keep saying you need to mount it as high as you can. So what if I mount it all the way to the top?
I tried thinking of some way to use I even bought hula hoops this year to try to make some think of a giant bracket or barrier, whatever it's called. But I can't figure out how to close it off at the pole and still be able for the rope to move up and down.
Right.
But I thought of something it's basically a hanging baffle from the gourd rack, but I can't figure out the rope part of it.
Can
I
you
have
just drill a
Sci-
hole?
Sci-Fi I've seen, and I know Kathy's seen it too, and Tammy and John and lots of other people. T14s used to come with a baffle mounted to the bottom of the house. I've seen them that way in pictures hundreds of times, but I don't have any practical knowledge of that. I've never actually done it myself.
Safe, I mount, I know what you're talking about. I don't use those brackets. I mount my predator guard up where the safety pin goes through the pole. I just put the predator guard right on top of that safety pin. You have a safety pin on your pole?
Oh, I haven't got the poles yet. It's coming.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
That's
and it
usually
looks
up
like
pretty
I
high.
have to wait till end of season to put it on anyway.
Okay, yeah.
Have anyone ever dug up like old poles to put a new pole in? Because I'm like, the pole I have has like about 120 pounds of concrete in there. Like, how much work am I looking at trying to dig that out?
A bunch of work.
I did it once.
Karen, you did it?
I did it once.
Oh, Courtney, okay.
It took me 2
Wow.
days.
Ooh.
I don't want to do it again.
So just dig around it until I get to the bottom of it?
At least
Around
on
and
one
under.
side, yeah. Yeah, you're looking at something that's very, very difficult to do.
Do you know anyone with a tractor or a skid steer?
No, but I can take my truck and start pulling with it.
I don't know if that's gonna be the right pulling direction.
Yeah, you got to go up.
Safe. Yeah, sorry, Safe, that won't help. Because we moved last year and I was gonna take our 2-inch pole with us. And I dug all the way around it and bent an 1.5-inch spud bar with a chain wrapped around it, lifting it. So if you don't have equipment or feel like digging all the way under it, cut it, bury it, and just buy a new ground stake.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That's a good idea, Travis. Just cut it off. Yeah, if you don't.
So just
think
like,
that-
just go next to it and just mount the new one over there, right?
Yes.
Just leave this one alone.
So Safe, what kind of
Yes.
pole do you have right now?
Now I have the stupid tripod.
Oh, okay, okay. So that wouldn't even be a good ground stake for another pole.
No.
No, okay.
So I
I
can
don't
just
know if
take
it's-
the angle grinder and just cut it off then.
Yeah, that's a
Yes.
good better idea.
That's exactly what I would do.
I don't know if it's very, I don't know if it's very helpful to you, but I took one up and used a T-post puller, and it pulled it up, cement and all. So
Hey, that guy's speaking Southern. I understand him. That's Daniel. That's
You can
Daniel
you
Seber.
can get a T-post puller at Tractor Supply or anything like that.
Oh,
And,
I do have one.
That's what I did. It was no problem. It pulled it right up.
Okay,
Like
that's good
with
to know.
with the concrete on,
Sorry.
like it will pull with the concrete on.
With
Like,
a,
I
he's
have
asking if
concrete,
it'll pull
yeah, it's still on
concrete
there.
and all.
I just moved it to I just moved it to a different place and buried the concrete with it again.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
Okay.
That's what I did too.
that is
Yeah.
good to know.
So you don't want to keep that pole and use it for a feeding station or something?
So that I can do if I don't have to dig it up, and if I just move like, so if I move just 10 foot to one side, I'll be all right, right?
Yeah,
Sure. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
That's
then I don't
actually
need
what
to
I'm
mess
thinking
with it at
about
all.
doing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
yeah. Just use it for a feeding station. Good idea, Tammy. You get a gold star tonight.
Thank you.
That'll save me a few days of digging.
Yes.
Yeah. There you go.
Going back to the predator guard under a house thing, if anybody wasn't familiar with what they were talking about, Troyer in their catalog often has this, see if I can get it to show up.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
This
there's
is what
that.
people are talking about, this,
Yes, there's that picture.
this
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, this is a 2019 catalog. I just picked it out of my pile over there, but it's probably in the new one too.
Yes,
Good.
I've seen that done, but I really don't know anybody that's ever used that.
I don't either.
I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't work, but
I just want to figure something out because taking that,
Lindsay, I'm gonna get one of us will get Tiffany to post some better pictures of what she did, what her husband did to her guard. Because I really think if you're gonna use snake netting and a cylinder guard, I don't see how you can get better I don't see how you could get better than what
I'm
they've
gonna go
done.
look for it.
I
didn't
think
mind
I think it's fantastic.
Okay, good. And to add on to what we were just talking about, that's what I've decided to do with my Heath pole. Is I'm just going to buy a new ground stake for the 2-inch pole and slide it over a piece of that Heath house pole.
Yep.
And then pour some concrete down into it and then slide the deluxe pole over the top of it, since I got that one off Facebook.
Right.
It doesn't need to be super sturdy to be a feeding station. So look, this isn't auto captioning for me at all either. What's the deal? I don't even have an accent.
Oh yeah, you do. You got a bad one. I'm just not saying anything about it.
So we have Micah here tonight too. Hey, Micah.
Hi, Micah.
Brand new landlord this year.
Micah's that Martin hog that lives down the road from me.
That's right. I've got 10 now.
10. Good deal.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. Man, you're gonna have a heck of a colony next year.
Yeah, if I can talk my sweet wife and let me grow.
Well, you're a pretty persistent guy. I think you might win that one.
Nah, you ain't met my wife.
Oh. Wait until the babies start fledging and show her how cute they are.
That's
There
right.
we go.
That's right. I wish I could show you guys what's happening here, but there's no way to capture it on footage. It is absolutely the dark side of purple martins, and I may have to step away and intervene, but I have 10 to 12 males that are constantly in pursuit of one female. They've taken her to the ground one time and she got away, but every time she comes out of the gourd or gets off the ground, they follow her. They pushed her into a pecan tree in my neighbor's yard. But that is something that doesn't get talked about very often, but it's forced copulation. And when they get one female singled out, I have seen them take her down to where she can't fly. And that could, if you hear a shotgun blast in a minute, that's usually how I break it up.
You want me to cut this off? Or?
No. I just usually.
I'm going out.
So I use an air horn
Yeah.
for things like that too, as well
Right.
as if I see a hawk coming in, I
Right.
use an air horn when a hawk comes in, and things like that. So air horns work good too.
Yeah,
And
anything that makes noise. I mean, that's
anything that makes a loud noise. Yeah.
Yes. That's something I don't hear talked about very often. I took some photos of it yesterday, but they're worse today than they were yesterday. I'm gonna have to intervene. I'll be right back.
I can hear them.
Steve Prunky talked about that on the PMCA forum a lot, and he said he had seen instances where females had wings broken or were otherwise disabled from the violence from the males.
Yeah, I've had to rescue a few out in the field, especially early in the morning when the grass is still wet. And they got so wet they couldn't fly, so I would go rescue them. Put them in a towel so they dried off.
As long as they're not listening.
If they were able to fly. I think John and Louise are trying to get disconnected.
Yeah.
So let's see, who else do we have?
I gotta go. It's nice meeting you all.
It's good to see you.
Nice to meet you too.
Keep us posted. Thanks for joining.
Good luck with your missing Martin. He's out catting around.
Better not be doing. He better not be with those guys at your place.
No, he's not with the guys at my place, but he's with guys somewhere. Probably with the women, if I had to guess.
There was this one that's popping up. So 7-4
Oh, let's see, who else do we have here? Kevin. Kevin,
Cross street from Carroll High School.
Kevin, you're on mute if you're speaking.
Hey Kathy, how you doing?
Good. Thanks for joining tonight. What's up?
Hey, I've still got the one pair of Martins, but there's another female that's looks like he's trying to join up with it, but that male faces are off.
It's
I don't know.
probably a sub-adult male, I'm betting that you have.
No, he's a real dark color. So there's that male and the female, and then there's usually 3 of them flying around. And towards the evening, whenever the first female goes in to the box, the other female, she's flying around up there with that male Martin, and he chases that female off, and then he'll go to the box. I don't know where that female goes.
Huh. And it's just the 3 that you have right now?
Yeah, but the third one I don't have. It flies around all day with the other 2, but it doesn't stay here.
Probably still looking for a mate. Yeah.
So don't play the CD or anything to try to draw.
Nope. Don't need to play the CD right now.
Yep.
Okay.
Those 3, even though the third one's not staying, they'll attract the others.
You think eventually there'll be another male bird?
Yeah.
All right.
If that is for sure a female, she's not going to go without a mate. She's going to have a mate for sure.
Feedback, Brad. We can't hear anything.
Yeah, I know. I don't.
Hang on just a second. Let's see. Can everybody that's not talking please go on mute? Not you, Kevin.
I think the meeting was. Yeah, the feedback's coming from Kevin for some reason.
Oh, okay.
You're hearing it from me now?
No.
I can hear you good now.
Okay. I didn't do anything any different.
Yeah. I can watch.
But anyway, I just thought maybe that male bird was just kind of feisty and chased off that other bird.
Now that is possible. I've seen that before when that. Kevin, I muted you again. When you get ready to talk, I'll unmute you. But for some reason, we're getting feedback through your microphone. I've seen situations where one male would dominate an entire gourd rack. So that could be happening. It could be the male that is trying to dominate the gourd rack. But once he gets female laying eggs, he'll chill out some, so that'll help.
But what Kathy was saying was that female, that extra bird, it could be a subadult male. That
It could
looks
be.
like.
It could be. They're so very hard to tell apart. So it could be that too. Kevin, you can unmute anytime you get ready.
I'll just have to be patient, I guess. See what happens.
Yeah, that's not easy, but sometimes that is the only option. But I mean, you've got 3 birds, so that's a start. That's a good sign for sure.
Kevin, you have a house, right? Not a gourd rack?
Correct. It's one of those T14s,
Yeah.
So my dad had one of those, and gosh, he had tons of birds. But I'm kind of in a valley where there's quite a few trees around here. So, but I see those 3 birds flying around with several other ones. But then towards the evening, they all kind of go to their house, and my pair comes to my box here.
And Kevin, you had a house sparrow issue here recently, right?
Yes, I ordered one of those traps from the PMCA, just haven't received it yet. So I went ahead and pulled that nest out of there today. There was about 6 sparrow eggs in there.
Okay.
Ooh.
All
So
whenever, all right, so you have a T14. What I would do is go ahead and let the house sparrow build the nest again and lay some eggs. And if it has 6 eggs in there, just remove 3 or 4 for now until you get your trap. You're going to use those eggs to help trap whenever. And then once you get your trap, plug everything else up that the purple martins are not using and that the house sparrow is not using, because you don't, well, wait a minute. Brad, if he plugs everything, that'll drive the house sparrows out, won't it?
Yeah, if the house sparrows are committed to the nest, I don't know that you'd have to plug anything, because they're going to go back to that nest with the.
That's
with
true.
the
If they have
eggs in it.
eggs, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So just leave the eggs until you get the trap. Have your purple martins laid eggs yet?
no, I looked in there today for the first time. There's no eggs in there yet.
Okay. I just counted Saturday and I have 12. So yours aren't probably very far behind.
That's almost a dozen.
You know that the birds have been sitting on top of a cottonwood tree picking leaves off there, taking them down to the house. So
They're
got
getting
the
ready.
piney. Yeah,
They're getting ready to lay eggs.
yeah.
Kevin, your brother contacted me too. Has he got any purple martins yet?
No, he hasn't had any luck, and he's kind of like right along the Missouri River. But no, he's got eagles around his place, and he was wondering if maybe there was too many of those types of birds around there.
No, they won't bother him.
No.
Is he playing the Dawn song?
What'd you say?
Is he playing the Dawn song?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, good.
And yeah, both of them. I think he plays them like pretty much all day long. He's kind of out in the middle of nowhere though, so neighbors should. Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Well, you're doing good. Just whenever you get your trap, you'll be able to trap, and you can email me and ask for questions, or you can jump on our website too. We have a website, so, but you know how to reach me.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Okay.
Hey, Kevin.
Thanks.
Kevin, how long is it going to be before your trap is delivered?
Should be no more than a week. I called them. I ordered it on May 3rd, and I called them and they said I should have it within about 5 or 6 days.
Okay. You'll be fine. House sparrows can fledge faster than any birds I've ever seen, but usually about 14 to 15 days. So maybe 16. But if you let them, I would do like Kathy said and let them relay, and that'll keep them entertained and occupied, and they won't be aggressive towards your martins.
Yep.
I just wanted to make sure it wasn't going to be like 3 weeks before you got your trap.
Right. That's why I pulled those eggs out of there today. I didn't want them to, hatch or anything.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys.
You're welcome. Okay. Karen Denise, how's your colony doing? You put up 2 gourds and purple martins moved right in, huh?
Yeah, we put the 2 gourds under the house on Thursday, and on Friday both of them was occupied, and one of them was a SY adult, and he immediately had him a female, and now I'm pretty sure they're nesting in there. I'm gonna try to check tomorrow if it's not raining.
So he moved pretty fast, huh?
He was very quick. And then the other one is an adult male with a female. The only thing I'm not real thrilled about those hanging under the house like that, but it solved my problem of eggs coming out. What we had 7 eggs in one day, and then we found 2 more the next day. That something had knocked them out of the nest and pecked them open.
So this is, for everybody that doesn't know, this is my sister Karen that lives in Louisiana. And she has a house full and a gourd rack full, and she was having problems with subadults throwing the eggs out of the adults. So I suggested to her to put a couple of extra gourds up under her house, and she did. And it looks like, so no more eggs are being knocked out now, right?
No, as of, I'm going to say Friday, as soon as, well, after they took over, we have not found any more eggs knocked out of the nest or on the porches or anywhere yet.
Good.
So I guess that was a great idea, but now I've got 26 gourds that are full, and the house with 12 nest cavities are full.
I feel really sorry for you.
That is something that doesn't get, I mean, it does get talked about. We talk about SY infanticide and them removing eggs from nests, but there's not been a whole lot of talk about trying to manage around that. I mean, you know, putting up a few gourds, some people do that, and people have talked about putting up a SY pole, and that's something we need to look into more as a whole. I think is managing the SYs to keep them from being as destructive. I mean, there's a fine line you walk because you don't want to keep somebody else from starting a colony, but you also don't want to lose 20 to 30 to 40 nestlings from your colony when you could prevent it. So there's got to be something out there.
Yeah, so we used to talk about this on the PMCA forum a long time ago. And I can't remember who the guy was, but he called it the SY deferral facility. And he actually had a separate telescoping pole, one of the cheaper poles. And he would set up 3 or 4 gourds after all the adults had settled down and started nesting. And when the SYs would start migrating in, he would then put out those 3 or 4 gourds, but it was away from his colony. But of course, eventually that just becomes another gourd rack for you to manage. You've got to, if the SYs start nesting there, you have to protect the pole and everything. So it's just another colony.
Right.
And you could keep doing that every year.
Right. Well, I had planned on doing that this year and decided not to because Michael was starting, and I'm glad I didn't, but I'm running into the same situation now that I expected that I would. I've got 30 to 40 extra SY males that are at my side every night at dark, and I've been going out 30 minutes after dark and flushing them off the poles because they're just owl bait. I mean, I was out at 9 o'clock Saturday night. It'd been dark for an hour, and a martin came to roost on my gourd rack at 9 o'clock Saturday night. So I'm going to put another pole up next year, and I'm going to raise it mid-May every year. I know it'll look funny without gourds hanging on it, but I'm going to do it just because of that, and see if that helps.
So just another word towards our Missouri landlords here. I think Lindsay dropped off, but Kevin and your brother, just FYI, the subadults are starting to pour in here the last week, and they will continue. Typically they continue through about the 1st or 2nd week of June. So Kevin, just make sure you tell your brother, keep playing that dawn song through the middle of June.
Yes.
Because they're still coming.
I've messaged some of the, Kathy calls us big boys, the ones with the big colonies, but we have got a SY migration this year that is I hate to throw terms around, but I really think it's stronger than normal. I know Greg Ballard and Tony Garrettson are saying the same thing. Just an unusual number of SYs hanging out at our colonies.
That's good news.
Coming in at night. So, that's fantastic news.
Yeah.
So it's a problem for us, but it's great for the people that are trying to start a colony. So, this has turned out. I was really worried with the polar vortex that this year was going to be abysmal for people trying to start a colony, but I really think it's turned out to be a better than normal year for SY arrival.
Yeah. It is. It's turning out really good. So let's see, who else have we not heard from? Louis, how's your colony doing? Your new rack. He's trying to get off mute. There we go.
All right, hi, I'm here. How y'all doing?
Good.
Let's see here. My new rack is doing well. It's pretty well close to filling up.
Wow.
I thought it was SY birds, but there's a couple ASY birds in there too, and I'm not sure where they came from because they weren't there less than a week ago.
Oh,
Great.
I'm not sure if they moved from the front yard to the backyard. I don't know what happened, but I'm not complaining.
I was going to say, you don't care what happened to you as long as they come to your house.
Exactly. As you saw, I posted, I added some of the ventilation to some of the trailer boards I got, and
yep.
I ordered tunnels for the super board. So I'm waiting on those to come in, and I'm going to install all them. And I ain't decided what I'm going to do yet. If I'm going to put up a new board rack, or if I'm going to replace my S&K stuff. I know Brad was saying to keep the S&K stuff, which is probably a good idea. But now that I have them on a better board rack, I think they're a little better. But last year they were terrible on the track help hole. So I ain't decided quite what I'm going to do yet, but I'm just waiting for those tunnels to get in so I can get them ready for next year.
Good deal. That's awesome.
Excellent. Nice job.
Also, you've seen the one in the backyard that has the S&K house on it.
Mm-hmm.
No birds in the house whatsoever. They're only fooling with the gourds.
I saw the same thing here, Louis. I had 102 gourds until last year for, probably 13 or 14 years. And I found a Trio Castle and modified it and put it up, made it a 12 compartment house. And I had it for 2 years at my house with every gourd I had full, and I never got a martin nest in it. So finally took it down and gifted it to someone. But
I think I'm gonna end up doing is probably modifying that rack, taking the house off, and then just adding arms for new gourd.
Yeah.
So it's just what I had at the time. So
good.
Everything's well over here at Bluebird Pines.
Awesome. Congratulations. Nice job on those racks.
Absolutely. Well, who else?
Brad, I just walked out of my gourd racks, and I've got 16 birds.
16 birds. Good. That's awesome.
I don't know how y'all count them.
You just kind of get a good guess.
Well, they're all sitting still right now, so.
Well, that makes it easy.
Yeah, but I started out with 10 gourds. I had to take 2 of them down, so I've only got 8 gourds now. So I should be getting close to being full. So.
I was fixing to say 8 times 2 is 16. That sounds like you're full to me.
Yep. So we need to start working on next year.
That's right. Got to start talking to the wife.
Yeah, you might want to get through a hot summer and doing nest checks and dealing with Mike before you make that decision.
Stuff like that don't bother me.
There you go. There you go. That's
Awesome.
that is fantastic, Micah. You've got
Yep.
with 16 birds at your colony, you are I mean, you're almost assured of a good return next year and getting started back with some adults. And, the sky's the limit for you.
There's also money too.
Well, yeah, that. But now
So,
those natural gourds that you're using this year, that's about as cheap a housing as you can offer, and as you can see, they work really, really well. So.
well, I'm putting the plant more so I can have some for next year.
There you go. There you go.
Well, y'all enjoy your night, and I'm getting off of here.
All right,
All right,
Micah,
see you,
thanks for
Micah.
joining.
Bye bye.
All right, anybody have any other questions? Everybody doing good?
Courtney, how's your public colonies doing with your owl?
University Club is doing great. The Martins look so relaxed and happy. It's just fabulous.
Good.
Not seen any other evidence of predation. So
Right.
that's really good.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one day at a time with that owl.
Yeah, that was probably my worst nightmare, dealing with that.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and I've had to limit travel the last few days because you've probably heard North Carolina's been all over the news for gas hoarding.
Oh yeah, I heard
There's no
about
gas
that.
anywhere.
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
it's
Yeah.
been crazy down here seeing all the gas pumps with the yellow bags on them.
Yeah. I only had to go to 2 gas stations to get gas today, so that was good. So I can
There
actually
you
go
go.
check on my colonies tomorrow. That'll be
Good
good.
deal. Good. Good.
All right, guys. Thanks everyone for joining. You guys know where to find us.
There you go. Purple Mark
Good luck.
Fanatics.
Take
Thanks,
care, man.
everyone.
Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.